So the data center ban passed yesterday at the meeting. I wanted to go over a couple concerns because I've seen people have questions. I know there's questions, and I hope this can be the answer to all your questions about the data center ban and data centers in Pahrump and what's going on next, because there is a next to this. First, I wanted to just address where is this banned. This has been banned in the 162 water basin. What that is it's an area, it's generally Pahrump. Some of it goes into Clark County. And there's been some people kind of asking the question, well, what about Clark County? What if they decide to go, an hour out of Las Vegas and put it right next to Nye County for some reason, which they could. The first argument is, well, why haven't they done this already? Because their commissioners don't have any problems approving data centers. The second problem, obviously, is that they're taking part of our water. And the question is, can we do anything about it? It's always hard in law to answer these questions. Can we do anything about it? And the answer is we could always file a lawsuit. I don't think there's going to be any excited faces over at the district attorney's office about filing a lawsuit against Clark County for our interest in our water basin. But is that something we could do? That's absolutely something that I would look at. I can't promise we could do it. I cannot promise I could get it passed. I cannot promise it would be possible. I cannot promise it would be successful. But obviously it's something that's on the table. But again, in reality, why would you spend all that money to go way out of town, and you're paying people to drive back and forth and all this stuff? The reason why Nye County was attractive is because of the fact that it had a government that they could bully around. So that's not happening anymore. Banned in the 162 water basin. The second thing I wanted to mention is the next steps. And then I'm going to go over this bill, just a couple of important parts of the bill. But before I do that, the next steps are, we have banned this in the water basin, and this was done in order to make sure that I had the votes to get the ban passed, because people outside of Pahrump, for some reason, want a data center. I don't know why. They probably want it because no one's going to want to go there with a data center. I don't know the answer to that. But there are communities way north, hours north, that want these data centers. So we still have to put together some kind of regulation for it. It's not my district. It's nowhere near us. So it is obviously something I have to vote on, so I have to research, and I will update you, not as much as I have been on this, but I will update you on what it is, and put things up on social media so you're aware. So the next step, I believe September something, maybe the second meeting, you will hear us taking an item before us to talk about data center regulation. Again, that's not in Pahrump. My concern is that someone will say, oh no, that's Pahrump. See, I told you it didn't pass. Well, it did pass, the ban passed, but this will be for outside of Pahrump. This will be north, and we still have to go through the regulations for that. So I just want to talk about 5 things on this bill. It's not a very big bill. It's 2.5 pages. This is my bill that I wrote and sponsored, and it passed yesterday, 5-0. So I know what's in it. I will read here. I'll just give you the most important, and that is 1713.015, the limitation on applicability. What that means is, where is this enforced? It's enforced in the the 162 water basin. I keep saying Route 162 for some reason. The 162 water basin, this is enforced. And I changed that language in the amendment. When I amended it, I said, I'd like to amend this to remove all that stuff about unincorporated areas. So forget all that. I know people will be talking about that. I read the bill and it says unincorporated. That's been removed. So anything you see, 1713.015, just for the Pahrump water basin 162. That's it. That's the only place that this is enforced, but it is for the entire water basin where we have jurisdiction. The second thing is just to talk about what is a data center. And there's been some confusion, and I'm sure this will come up again. It's pretty clear in the bill that an accessory server room, like a big company that happens to have a bunch of hard drives in a room, that's not a data center. A data center is clearly laid out here, and it says that a data center has to be something that is standalone. So if it's designed to support another business, it's not a data center. And then even if it is, because we've thought about this, what if someone's using it as a data center? Well, it's got all these things. It's got to be 2% of the gross floor area of the principal structure. So it's limiting it because these things are huge. So it limits it. And if you want to read it, you can. It's in here. The other thing, very quickly, wanted to go over was the section here, prohibited use, says data centers and substantially similar uses are prohibited. And that's very interesting because it gives us sort of, in case this evolves and the law hasn't caught up, this catches that. Anything that's substantially similar, because everyone's calling them a data center now, but what if it turns into something else? What if we start calling it something else? Well, this could catch that, and that's why that language is in there. And then saying it's prohibited in all zoning districts, all areas, all overlay districts, all land use clusters. So there's nothing left here. It is everything here. And I want to remind people that this isn't, just because BLM land is in Pahrump water basin, it's not like the UN where our laws don't apply. Our laws do apply on BLM. Our laws do apply on BLM. So this forbids it on, I don't care if it's BLM, I don't care who owns the land. It is applicable, and that's right here. The other thing, which is, I know people are going to want to, well, let me get that in a second. Prohibition, sorry, I've been sitting in a meeting for 10 hours yesterday. I'm still sort of catching up. Prohibition on circumvention. No use substantially similar to or equivalent will be permitted regardless of the name or description. And we already had that in here, but it just, again, it's just to clarify that. I just wanted to put it in there twice. It was so important. The other thing is pre-existing uses and approvals. This is what I think everyone's going to be interested in. And that is no prior approval shall vest any right to establish or operate a data center unless the use was lawfully established and operational prior to the effective date of this chapter. There are no operational data centers. I don't care what people are planning. It does not matter. It is not legal. So any data center, anything that qualifies under this law, is not going to move forward. No matter what stage it's in, it's not going to move forward, regardless of how excited they are, how much money they've put into it, or anything else. So that is the answer to that. Really, the reason for something like this is in the event that something here in Pahrump has been declared a legal data center. Let's say there's something right now in someone's basement or in some business, and that is determined to be a data center. Under this provision, we're just going to grandfather it. Just in case for some reason someone attacks our language and says, well, I already have this here. This way we do not run the risk of any part of this law coming undone. And I know that's a little complicated to understand, but it just protects us from someone attacking this and saying, well, we've already got a data center right here at the auto parts shop in the basement, according to your law. So what now? And if we don't have this provision, then they can attack the law and possibly overturn the law, possibly. But with this permission, we're saying, okay, you know what? Fine, it's a data. Whatever's going on in the basement of your AutoZone place is a data center, but it's grandfathered in because it already existed before the effective date of this law. Really shouldn't be a problem because there are no data centers here. That's just put in there to show that if there's already one here, it's grandfathered, but there's not. So we don't have to worry about that. And the next step on this is to talk about how to handle data centers for the rest of the county. And again, that's in a month or so. If you have any questions, I really would appreciate just email me at commissionerbayne@gmail.com. It's much easier just to answer the questions than to have people asking a bunch of people who don't know the law or know this law or care to even read it, a bunch of opinions, because that just confuses everybody. So any questions, ask me, and thank you all very much. This would have never happened without you. It really would not have happened without you. This would just be papers on my desk if it weren't for you putting pressure on the commissioners to make this happen. So I am very thankful. I didn't want to see this in our town. And so really, thank you very much.